Girl, don't worry, this boy ain't gonna run. There ain't no hurry, we got plenty of days left under the sun. And no, it ain't a one-day ride, tucked through the mountains where the coyotes cry, down through the canyon where the wild things hide, and the cottonwoods fall. Feel the river running under. Hey friends, what's going on? This is David Potts with Song Notes, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to pick up your guitar and play the song Long Haul by Ian Munsick. This is a 2021 song. Immediately became a favorite of mine. I started listening to it on repeat, and I can't wait to show it to you. So I'm basing this off of the stripped version he did. It's much more acoustified. You can hear the guitar. I love his playing style, and this PDF chord sheet I have is handmade for you, from me, to help you learn this song. Page 1 is going to give you the lyrics for the entire song, along with some chord diagrams and a tab for the intro. Page 2, I'll show you 2 different ways to play the chords and the chord progressions for each section. And on page 3, I'll show you tabs for each section as well to play this in the way that Ian Munsick does. It's a cool fingerstyle arrangement, right? Kind of bouncing fingers going on, but there's lots of cool dissonance, you know? Whether it's a C major 7, or it's the D, the voicing he does for the D up here. Really cool voicings, even though it only uses basically 4 chords. So let's get into the lesson. Skip ahead if you know what you want. You can get this PDF on my website, playsongnotes.com. Thanks to all of you who are supporting me on Patreon. The monthly support is tremendous, and it keeps me going with these. I have several hundred of these PDF chord sheets as well as video lessons. Those are all free, but you can learn how to become a member, and it's a great way to learn guitar. So let's get into it. Jump ahead if you know what you're looking for. And there's one more thing I was going to say. It has to do with tuning. Tune down 1/2 step, all strings down a 1/2 step if you want to play along with Ian Munsick. I'm going to stay in standard tuning because I like my guitar better that way. But let's get into it, and I'll see you all on the other side. Bye-bye. All right, friends, so quick reminder before we get into the chords that you're going to need to tune down a 1/2 step if you want to play along with Ian Munsick. I am in standard tuning because I think my guitar sounds better that way, and I figure most of you are starting off that way too. Just a heads up there, okay? Now, chord shapes you're going to need. Conventionally, you would play the chords this song uses like this. And I say conventionally meaning if someone asked you how to play an E minor or a G over F sharp or a G, you know, or a C major 7, C add 9, or a D, it might look like this, right? Now, I say that just for broad context. If you want to strum and use those voicings, you can. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is focus on these chord voicings for this lesson. This is how Ian Munsick plays it, and this allows for some very interesting sort of playing style stuff. So the main thing here is if you're playing this fingerstyle, which I recommend doing, basically your right thumb is going to play all the golden circled notes, right? So left to right, we have the E minor, the G over F sharp, and the G. That's the bass notes of each of those, an E, F sharp, and a G, right? Now, we're not strumming all the strings. Instead, what we're doing is our thumb is playing the bass note, and then we're going to use our index and middle finger on our right hand to play the 3rd and 4th string, the middle strings. And when you play these chords, I recommend, when you're learning them, I recommend practicing them by plucking the bass note once, and then plucking the middle 2 strings. So that would be the E minor, right? 1 finger down. For the G over F sharp, you're going to move that 1 finger to the 6th string. Then play the open 3rd and 4th strings, and then you just slide that finger up to play the G. Another tip here is to practice these chords in clusters, and the first cluster is going to be this trio of what I just showed you. The E minor, G over F sharp, and the G. Go back down. Okay, this is the first thing you want to practice, is these chords all come together every time. That's what you want to do first. Then next we have all these C voicings, okay? Oh, about the G. See how I have that note in parentheses, 3rd fret? Parentheses generally in my tabs mean you don't have to play it, but it's there for context, right? Sometimes what he's going to do, I'm going to cover this in a bit, is he's going to play this G. So I'm going to cover that again in a minute, but what he's doing is on some of the plucks, every now and then his two fingers down here are jumping to these two strings, and they're going to grab the second and third string, and they're going to grab that parentheses note. Just a heads up there. So there's more parentheses to come. Regular C would look like this, but again, practice it the way we're going to play it. Bass string, fifth string, and then the middle two. Now, a C major 7 means we're taking our finger off the second string, and it's no different from a C if you just play those three strings, right? But every now and then, we're going to be doing that later on, right? This note gives it a lot of flavor. That dissonance is super powerful in this song. The C add 9. All we're doing there is putting our pinky down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Okay, and let me show you this D. This D is basically, it's not like this. That's a regular D major. We're not doing that. What we're going to do is take a C shape and just slide it 2 frets up. So we have 5th fret, 4th fret, open, and then 3rd fret. And that open string, especially when you're playing it fingerstyle, and you strum it slow, it gives it a nice bit of character, right? If you were to do full strumming, it's going to sound a little bit weird because of the dissonance going on there. But again, this song uses dissonance to really great effect because we put all these chords together, we're going to get a great sound. The final one here is this E minor with the star, and this is another voicing for E minor, and it's going to have this note, 7th fret of the 5th string, as our bass note. That's important. So it's 5th fret on the 4th string. So, same idea. Now the cluster you want to practice here is this E minor to the D to the C, and go back up. Just worry about the 5th string for the bass note and the 3rd and 4th string for your sort of like up strums there. Worry about just those at first. Don't worry about the parenthesis notes. And what you're going to see is this is a nice little cluster because your ring finger is playing the bass notes on all the chords. Okay, these chords are all going to be used together as well. Now, it is important, ideally, to keep your hand to play the parenthesis notes. For the D, for example, keep your index finger right here because we want to do that sometimes. We want to go to this string sometimes. Likewise on the E minor, we're going to do that, okay? So those are the chord shapes. Let's get into the context of how they're used now for this song. So I have on page 2, I have the chord progressions for the entire song written out, and it's how long to stay on each chord. If you're going to strum this, I would recommend giving this a look at for sure. Basically, but you could do the fingerstyle thing as well. You know, don't get stressed out about the tabs just yet. No, I don't ever look back. Right? On G for 3 measures. So let's count that out. This is the verse. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G and 2 and 3 and 4 and G and 2 and 3 and 4. G and 2 and 3 and 4. E minor into G over F sharp to G. Okay, that's the first line. Do that 3 times. Da 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 da. And then the verse ends by going to a C add 9, da 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 da, or just a C, doesn't matter, and then to a D. And those last 2 in the verse, we're gonna let those ring, right? Da 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 da. Now, into the verse, you just kind of repeat what you did in the verse there. Now, the pre-chorus is where we use this second cluster of chords I talked about, right? The D, so girl don't wear D, 2, 3, 4, E minor, and to C major 7 for 2 measures, and to D. I'm going to show you tabs for all this in a second. C major 7, and the second time you let it ring in the pre-chorus, okay? Now, let's go to the chorus. Same chords as the pre-chorus, just different order. C major 7 for 2 measures. C major 7, C major 7, then to G, 2, 3, 4, to G, 2, 3, 4, to D, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, E minor with that star. E minor to D and to C major 7. See how I have D in parentheses right there? That means it's optional. You don't need to play it. He plays it sometimes. He doesn't play it other times. You can just stay on E minor for 2 measures if you want. So let me move into the tabs now, because what I just showed you, I'm going to cover that same thing in the tabs. The tabs are going to help you understand when to play some of these notes and accent notes and everything. All right, so first up, let's look at the intro. Okay, the thing I want to call out here is by default, like unless I say otherwise, you want to keep your right hand fingers on their assigned strings, okay? 6th string for the thumb, and then middle 2 strings for the index and middle fingers. So the E minor, G over F sharp to G, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now the only gotcha, the tricky part, you don't have to do it, but if you want to sound exactly like him, on the and count, just between the 2 and the 3, in the final 2 measures, he's moving these fingers to these strings for the accent notes, and then back to their normal place. So again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and repeat. E minor, G over F sharp into G. Now he sneaks it in there. When he repeats it, he sneaks in this little accent strum. And this is the first really important part of the rest of this song, is keep this in mind. These accent strums that I'm going to show you in all these tabs, he's not doing them consistently. He's kind of doing them freely and loosely and organically. He's adding them when he feels like it, and other times he's not. And even with the G, sometimes he keeps his finger off the 2nd string on the G, okay? So don't feel too tied down by the tab. I give you the tab here as guidelines, and that means that you can kind of use it as much as it's helpful, but deviate as you feel you need to as well. As long as you follow the chord progressions I show you, you'll be in good shape. Now the verse is basically just like the intro, same chords, right? I don't ever look back. Da 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 da. And I ain't afraid of the slow burn. Da 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 da. Good thing go. The most important part is getting comfortable with that last line where he goes from E minor to G over F sharp to G, then to the C. It can be kind of hard to switch to a full strum all of a sudden. So if that gives you trouble, just the few beats before the C, stop strumming. I ain't afraid of the slow burn. And I da 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 dee da da. It's going to be one of the only times you strum in the entire song. The general note about the accents too before I move on. These accented strums. You usually don't want to do them if you're singing. They're usually good to add in after the vocals are done or before the vocals pick up again. That's one general tip. Look at the pre-chorus real quick. So, girl, don't worry, this boy ain't gonna run. Playing this twice, right? The D, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. E minor, 2, and 3, and 4. C major 7. You know, add in that accent. This is where that dissonance is gonna come in. See how that has a little bit of weird tension to it? That's dissonance, and you hear that in the C major 7, you hear that in the D. And just all together, that adds for some great, and you hear it in the G over F sharp as well. When the dissonance resolves, dissonant, nice, stability. Tension, stability. That's what this song is all about. So girl, don't worry, this boy ain't gonna run. There ain't no hurry, there's plenty of days left. Oh, that was kind of harsh. Days left under the sun. What happened there was I accidentally played the 6th string. We kind of want to avoid this string for the entire song, right? Because that's kind of not in our palette of colors if we were Bob Ross, right? So let's do that second line of the pre-chorus again where we let the C major 7 ring. So girl, don't worry, this boy ain't gonna run. Okay. Again, ain't no hurry, there's plenty of days left under the sun. No chorus. Same chords as the pre-chorus, just different order. 2 measures each on the C major 7. This ain't a one-day ride. dip to the da 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 G D da 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 D. Whoop, put your finger down here. Don't forget that note. It's important. D. So the trick when you're practicing the chorus at first is just practice these 4 chords in this order, 2 measures each. Don't worry about singing yet, and bring in the accented strums on the 2nd and 3rd strings freely as you feel free. For example, I'm just going to do it, right? C, major 7 to G, up to D, and E minor, sloppy. Now, at the end of the E minor of the chorus, you can stay on the E minor if you want, or you can go down to the D for 2 beats, or the 3 and 4 end. He's doing it sometimes, he's not doing it other times. So again, it's one of those examples where you have to basically do what you feel, you know? You can't, like, I'm not going to tab out the entire thing as he plays it because it would just be madness because he's playing it loosely and organically. So I'm teaching you the pieces here and you put them together as you see fit. So that's basically going to be the main thing. What I want to do now is play through the first half of the song and put it all together and show you what it sounds like. You know, I'm not as elegant a player and I honestly haven't practiced this song a ton, but I want to show you what it sounds like. So here's a playthrough, and I'm going to end after this. Get the PDF at my website, playsongnotes.com. I love this song so much, and I'm glad it's in my life now. I hope you found this helpful. This is some fun stuff going on with the guitar work here. But thanks for watching, y'all, and thanks to all of you who are supporting monthly on Patreon. I tremendously appreciate it. And I'll see you next time, my friends. Bye-bye. Take care. I don't ever look back. No, you never gotta worry about things like that. So don't think twice, because I ain't afraid of the slow burn. And one thing's for sure, it's good to let the good things last. So girl, don't worry, this boy ain't gonna run. There ain't no hurry, we got plenty of days left under the sun. And no, it ain't a one-day ride, tucked through the mountains where the coyotes cry, down through the canyon where the wild things hide, and the cottonwoods fall. Feel the river running under our feet, we'll be drowning in the sagebrush sea. Long as I know that it's you and me, time don't matter at all. Girl, I'm in it for the long haul. Girl, I'm in it for the long haul. Ooh. Take a hold of my hand.